Alright, greetings. I'm Chris, your Texas barbecue dude. I'm gonna get ready to do a brisket. Got a few things set up that we're gonna use. Our gloves. Got our puncture tool. This thing is cool. Just gotta put all those blades in there after we get it seasoned. We got a small brisket, mini brisket. Mini brisket. So it won't take too long for that one to cook. I mean, it's still gonna take a while. So what we'll do, without further ado, we're gonna get this started. Seasoned and ready to go. Get this bad boy, just rip it out and open. Take it out from here. Chuck that there. Got my napkins pat dried. It's not messy, so it's pretty good. Put one napkin down there. Get another napkin. Pat dry that bad boy pretty good. That's not bad really, so that's a cool thing. I don't have to use this many napkins. I just want to be sure and get all that extra moisture from the package out of here. And we'll get ready to start seasoning. We got these right here. Keep one glove on. Hey. You can join us if you want. Put a little bit of salt on here. Get that kind of coated in there. Because it won't really be salty. You gotta put a lot on there. So I'll put a little bit of that on there. Got a little bit of garlic powder right here. Put that a little bit over here. And what I did, I added a little bit of parchment paper underneath so that even though I have a cutting board, it's gonna be messy and it's gonna get all over the place. So at least that way I can clean up easy later. When I pound out this meat, it's gonna be less messy too. Fajita seasoning for this one, I'll leave a list of these in the description of what I use. I kind of use the same things over and over, but in different combinations. They just seem to work. I've tried different various things, so you'll probably see these up here, except the one difference, I'll show you after this one, is that we got some seasonal right there, which is just kind of like some fancy salt. It's just orange salt, whatever. It's pretty good though, I like it. But this one, I like it because it is brisket rub. Got a lot of good stuff in there. It's gonna have some extra chunks of some of the flavor in here. I'm gonna put this on there. Some of it may fall off of it, and if it does, that's okay. I'm just gonna put it back on there and just rub it in. Try to press all that in there. Got some of that fell off to the side. Just sop it up. Give it a little spin. Like I said, I messed here on one side and the other, so I wanna make sure I get some over here. Get all that ready to go. And all we're doing right now, we're just doing our dry stuff, because we're gonna soak it in something else afterwards. It's gonna be like a Zesty Italian dressing. We like using that, but we gotta get it all ready to go before we do that. A little bit of salt over here. I kind of don't like that spot right there, so what I probably will do is look at cutting this piece off. And I just don't like that too much. Yeah, a little bit of that off of there. It wasn't too bad after looking at it a little bit more. It seems like, yeah, let me cut just a little bit of that stuff off of there, so it's not too much. You want to have some fat on there because it's gonna cook into the brisket. You just don't want to have a whole lot. It's a mini brisket, so it doesn't have as much as it could have. Now I just had to give it a little bit of a spray. Not too bad. Get that tossed right there. Put that knife over there. We'll put some more salt back on here. I just do not like that portion. So we're gonna put a little more back over here. Have that dry. Go back to our thing again. Garlic powder. Get that all over there. Season all. Put that all up on there. I mean, it seems like it's a lot, but it really isn't. Because I mean, even though it's a mini brisket, it's still pretty big. Got some thickness to it, you know. Like a big old fat steak. Not fajita. Brisket, mini brisket. My wife went to the store, found this, and she thought, you know what, this will be good. It's a small one. Because sometimes you don't want a super huge brisket. You might not finish it. Freezing it's cool, but it's just not the same. The freshness, you know, after you cook it, that's what you want. Once again with the brisket seasoning, we're gonna put that on here. All over the place on there, a little bit more of this. Get this guy ready and wrapped. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get ready to use our puncture tool. Before we do that, I want to get as much of the seasoning onto the meat so it's not all over the board. More of that on there. I would use the other hand, but no glove. I'll get another glove in a moment if I don't need it just yet. That's pretty good. We got that right there. We got the seasoning. Got this guy coming out. Those guys can just kind of hang out right there. So let's go with this. We already got our seasoning on there, so when we puncture these into it, hopefully with the good grace of pushing it into there, it'll get some of that flavor into the meat. That's a little tough on there, so we're gonna punch it. Gonna flatten it out a little bit. That's okay. We'll get some of this done right here. That won't push into the flame. But seeing all the tenderizing. So we'll come back in just a moment. Alright, you're gonna catch me on the tail end of puncturing the meat with our tenderizer. Alright, push it over, got the other side. You can see it's a little bit bigger now because of that. Flip it back on over. Good to go there. Flip it back on over. Right now it's going all the way through. It doesn't stick to it. It did a little bit at first on the meatier parts. Now it don't. And that's what we wanted. So, now we got a nice tender piece of meat. There's my daughter there. She loves our barbecue.
Can I show you my favorite?
She's gonna show us something. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna clean up a little bit. We're kind of done with these things, so I can get rid of that. Brisket's gonna sit in here. We're gonna give it a quick bath in just a moment.
Look.
But my daughter wants to show you a picture. All right, Lily, go ahead and show them your picture.
Okay. So we got, this is Minecraft. This is Minecraft stuff. And there's tons I love. This is Mel Minecraft.
We love Minecraft. Well,
And I made Angel one. There's so many.
Thank you, Lily. What we'll do, give me just one moment, Lily.
And there's
Right there.
this. There's this stuff too. There's a lot of stuff that you'll go on adventures on mal.com
Lily,
barbecue. Bye-bye.
you have to make me edit that out. All right.
Bye-bye.
Now, for here, we got a little bit of time for the meat to sit. It's in its seasoning. I got it right here in our tray. And what's cool about this tray will hold everything. You can see some of our little markings on there. The fat didn't show too much on there, but we did puncture all the way through. And we got our seasoning all over the meat. Our next part of what we're gonna do is, on our next segment, I'll make the homemade version of Italian dressing. This one, it's good that I like to use in a pinch. I don't always want to make my own dressing, but when I do, it comes out just as good. But it's just Hill Country Fare Italian zesty dressing. Give it a good shake. Why it works, because you know it's got vinegar, oil, and it's got a whole bunch of other seasonings in there, Italian seasonings. What's cool about it is because I already made all the punctures in the meat, put the seasoning on there, and it's already kind of set. So it's gonna do its thing and get soaked up with more flavoring with this. It's gonna allow some of the juices to go further into it with this, because you know it wasn't a juicy piece of meat. Glove on, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a rub around on here to make sure I push some of that dressing into there, because it is Italian dressing. That's pretty much what you're using. Other places that I've worked at before, we would use a butter-based type of marinade that would go on the meat afterwards, and you can throw it on the fire, it won't stick to it. It will flame up a lot. That's okay. That's where you get some of your searing. You want some searing, not crazy searing. And we're gonna actually do a regular barbecue pit, no propane. We did propane last time for some hamburgers because it was lunchtime, we were hungry. But brisket, we're gonna use charcoal. And we're gonna use a smoke, a combination smoke style, barbecue style. So it's gonna get the best of both searing, smoking, cooking, all that good stuff. I don't have too much wood, so it's gonna be more of a charcoal based type of brisket that we're gonna make. This guy, we got it all seasoned up. We got it all covered in our wet marinade. He can sit and be ready for us to cook in a few moments because we got to get our fire going. I like to do that first so this has time to sit. I have to make my fire grow and get to its right temperature and where I want it to be. So, and that means I'm gonna have to wait for my meat to season more. So it's gonna be a combination. You can't throw the meat on the fire. Fire's not ready. So you gotta have that downtime for it to soak up. If you rush it, your flavor won't go into the meat. It'll still be good, but when you get to the center part of the meat and you start tasting it, when you make nice little slices, you'll feel in the center like it just doesn't have flavor. So let it sit for a little while. We're gonna move these guys out of the way and clean up. Put this guy right here, and we'll be ready to start the fire in just a minute. We'll show you how that's gonna come out, but we're gonna do our classic, too close. We're gonna do our classic, doing a grease fire with some bacon soaked napkins to get it going. All right, so here I had to get a little bit of overview, but we got our barbecue pit pretty much cleared out of old debris. We're gonna add a few things. We got our goodies with us. We got a little fan. We got a bag full of goodies. Inside of here is bacon grease that we collected from breakfast and whatnot. We got napkins in there that are soaked with it, so it'll be a little controlled grease fire. Got a lighter. Oh, didn't go. There it goes. And got our bags of charcoal. And of course, I mean, you need a little bit of lighter fluid just to get it started. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start our first layer of briquettes. It's a little brisket. We don't need a whole lot, but these ones are gonna be a little bit extra because these are gonna be my starters. I don't have regular starter, and I don't have as many napkins, but what I am gonna do, I'm gonna put a little bit of lighter fluid all over these. Get those ones going. Oh, nice and pretty light. Those ones are good. Next, what I will do, I am going to get my bacon grease. Always save it in the foil. I don't really try not to waste too much. I mean, I do waste, but the cool thing is that this will be ready to go. It's got my grease and everything soaked on it. And we're gonna layer this right up on here. We'll be right back to show you the next part. All right, we're back again. We got our next layer of briquettes right here that I put on top of our grease-soaked napkins. Again, it's gonna be a really good brisket. It's a mini brisket. I mean, this one's tiny. It was probably only like a few pounds, but it was a great deal. Sometimes you can find those at the store if you go there early enough when they're putting out the meats. Just depends. You got to talk to your local grocery store, ask them, be curious about their schedule, all that good stuff. This one I was debating on it, and I think what I will do, I will add another napkin of bacon soaked grease, and we're gonna do a little bit more charcoal. Because I want this fire to last for a little bit. I don't want to have to rebuild it. What happens is if I don't put enough together here to get this to last for a while, I'm gonna be back building the fire. I'll put some right here and I'll stack them. But you want to plan for that because once these do get going, they are gonna get going, and you want it really stoked. You don't want to have too many of the uncharred briquettes, but right in between, there's a nice little balance on it, and you know, everyone will kind of find their place on what looks great to start cooking on, and you know, everyone's gonna have their own way of doing it, but this is what I do. This is kind of like what I follow. Been doing it for a while. Had a few good buddies teach me on this, so I didn't just magically know. I took some time, made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of horrible barbecue. My wife was very forgiving about that. But yeah, we got these guys ready to go. Gonna put our foil away with all our other stuff. And it does get messy. That was from cleaning the barbecue pit. It got a little dirty there. It's gonna happen. I use this thing a lot. What we're gonna do, we're gonna get part of our grill back up over here, back onto our pit. This one is really dirty, so I try to be careful. I mean, of course, my hands are gonna touch it, but we try to keep it to a minimum. I'm gonna get these ready over here because once I get my fire going, I'm
I'm gonna want it to be able to burn off these and cook them a little bit. So we'll get that going in just a moment. I'm gonna prep it a little bit more and we're gonna set it on fire. All right, we're back again. Put a little bit, tiny bit of lighter fluid. Gonna move these guys out of the way. I got my fan in case I need it. He's going over here. So yeah, we're gonna get these going. We're gonna start lighting up from the back. I'm gonna do that so it gives me a chance to get this side going. Then I can start getting the other side going. Is it hot? Yes. Will I burn myself? A little bit. I usually don't have too much hair on my fingers or hands because I've been doing this a bit. And sometimes it gets a little toasty and you toast off your hairs. Not the eyebrows though. I haven't done the eyebrows. So we're gonna get this guy going. It's doing a good job. I wanna move this fire around a little bit. Because what we got going on right now is a little grease fire. Just add a little bit of air to it. And it's gonna help feed it. It kind of kills down on this side, so we gotta light it up once more. It's ready to go though. What we'll do, like I said, we're gonna get this guy scoot on over here. And just for the funsies, don't try this at home. I mean, if you do, try it at home. But again, a little bit of lighter fluid. This is all gonna burn off because I'm gonna fan it quite well after this, but I wanna get some of this going, so I'm gonna go a little tiny bit. Put a lighter back down over here. Got this guy going here. And what I'll end up doing is I'll end up spinning these grills around, getting them cooked on the other sides. I want to burn off my grills nastiness on there from the last time I grilled. It is getting a little toasty warm, and as we do this, I'll move a few briquettes around. I'll try to make a little hole on this side so it can have some room to breathe, and it'll do its thing. As I do that, there'll be a little bit of tumbling done with that. But yeah, we'll come back as soon as this guy is ready to go, and we'll be able to start putting our meat on there and cooking it and smoking it. It's not really gonna smoke per se like the way I want it to. Normally when I do these, I'll have some cherry wood or apple wood just bought from the store. If a friend wants to donate, sometimes that happens too, and I'll put it in there after I soak it a little bit. Sometimes I put it in dry, just depending on the weather, and it'll burn in there and smoke real good. This one, we got mesquite charcoal briquettes. They're pretty good. You can see a lot of HEB stuff. We got HEB over here. It's pretty much our main store to get everything you need. I mean, we still have a few other places like the Meat Market, La Michoacana, Walmart. We don't have no Kroger's or Albertsons. You get it delivered somehow, but we just don't have that. So we're gonna let this burn for a little bit. Our meat's still marinating, sitting, ready to go. About the time this is ready to go, the meat will have enough time. In a perfect world, I would have marinated my meat yesterday and let it soak the whole day and just let it sit in the fridge like that. I've done it before and it comes out very beautiful. But for this one, we're gonna be hungry later on tonight. This will probably take about 3 or 4 hours to cook. It's about 3 o'clock right now, give or take. So about 7-ish, we'll be ready to have some brisket, make brisket tacos, sandwiches, just brisket by itself, however you like it. It's gonna be great though. But yeah, we're gonna work this fire, stoke it up some more, and we'll be ready to cook soon. All right, we're back momentarily. We got our fire kind of going here. It's already in its smoldering phase. I'm gonna use this cool little fan here and try to stoke it up a little bit more so we get our meat grilling. So here we go with this. It does do a good job. And it will stoke it up back to some flamage. It's just tiny, that's the only downside. Get it from this side right here. Sounds good. That one's going pretty good. A little bit more. Push that air in there a little bit more. It's doing the job. You can see we got some flameage going here. And that's gonna help us get our fire burning faster so we can start cooking much sooner. And yeah, it'll be pretty good. This little guy works, bought it online. Tiny little portable fan. Yeah, better than using a paper plate. I used to have a little electric fan I would hold here and just blow around. It was great, but because it's plastic and electronic, it'll break down and start to melt, and it'll weather after a while, and it won't work anymore. Had a big old Tupperware top that I would use to fan it. Gets you tired. I mean, I'm a little winded in this, and I'm in pretty decent shape. You know, I do cardio, but man, that's a lot just to sit here. It's a lot, but it did work for this. I'm gonna do that right there. Ooh, that is smoky. Good thing for the hat. That helps out with that. So we got a little bit more flameage going on there. It's gonna spread around. We're gonna let it catch a little bit more. We're gonna move it with our tongs, but not just yet because it's kind of settling into place. But that's one thing you do. You can kind of stir up your fire. You can move the hot coals to where the not so hot coals are, mix it up. It'll get your fire going. Cool thing at this point is that my napkins are already pretty much toast. They're all burned up. It doesn't smell like lighter fluid. It now smells all like mesquite, charcoal briquettes. But they are very good. These ones I prefer versus the non-flavored ones, which is weird, but yeah, those will work. So I'm gonna do right here, get these guys moved around. Had some stragglers fall down here, that's okay. And I'm gonna poke a little bit. Okay, I lied, there's a little bit of napkin right here. That's okay, we're gonna use that to get it going again because it's already lighting up on fire. Great, that's what I wanted. We're gonna move some more of that around over here. And we'll end up getting everything back over to its original place, but I need to move some of these guys over here, stab it a little bit, get these hot bad boys here. Remember, if you don't like the heat, get a hot glove to do this. They got some of those heat retardant ones and they'll work. I've done this quite a bit, so I'm kind of okay with it, but I probably should get those gloves. We're gonna put this guy back right here, put that briquette up on there, that one, and that one, and that one. And yeah, we're getting some good smokage right there. So it'd be cool is that we're gonna get it nice and smoky and flaming and going because the meat really only needs the first 30 minutes to get the smoke flavor into it. That's what you want. And when we do that, we're just gonna kind of move our vents around. Well, we're gonna close up the vent down here. We'll open up the stack on here and we'll put the meat in the top left corner where the fire's in the bottom right, and it'll flow up that way and cause all the smoke to go that direction. But yeah, right now we're gonna get these guys moving. You can really see that smoke starting to pour out now because I mean, it's not anywhere near being out. This is a part where, you know, if you leave your campfire like this and you go camping, it's gonna light back up. It won't take much. A little bit of wind will do the trick for it. And that's why if you have a campfire, bury it, pour water on it, stir it around, make it into mud. We used to do that a lot at Renaissance Fest over by Houston. And that fire would go the whole weekend that we would be there. And I would just reuse what was there, start at the fire again, because that's what it does. And that's why you always want to be careful with that. Control pit, have a way to put it out if you need to. Got a good water hose over there. Never had to use it yet. Always been pretty good about it. And yeah. So yeah, for the most part, we're just gonna sit here, play with our fire, move things around, get it going, make sure it's gonna do what we want it to do, and that we don't have any unburned briquettes. Everything's gotta get started up. You don't wanna have unburned briquettes and start cooking. You're gonna get that weird flavor, and nobody's gonna like the brisket. So yeah, keep that in mind. Even though it's smoking good, we're not quite there yet. We can give it a little bit more of this. And pretty much, I'm gonna end up working this for a while. My grill is clean enough that I'm gonna stripe it with some foil later. And I'm gonna work this a little bit more so it'll be nice. There'll be more of a ash color versus just uncooked. And they'll be ready to go. We'll be back pretty soon, but it'll be awesome. All right, we're back. This pit is smoking. It is ready to go. Our coals are toasty. And it's set just right that this thing's gonna cook the way we want it to. Ooh, that is smoky. Now these tongs are just for charcoal. This right here is not gonna be our meat that's gonna go on. I don't know, horrible view, lots of sun, lots of smoke. But what we're gonna do is this guy's gonna go up on top, fat side up, and we're gonna put them up over here. Because the first part, we want it to smoke. Got a little bit of juice, like a pour on there. So I can get that out of the way. Those are done. We're closing up for now. Oh my Lord, this is gonna be good. Adjusting my vent down here. So more of it's gonna bellow out the top here. You can kind of see that. Yeah, it's gonna be good. This is gonna sit here for probably about a good 20, 30 minutes up on the top. Then we'll put it back down, sear it some, get it all ready and smoky and charred up. Then we'll wrap it in parchment paper and put it back out here so it can slow cook. So we'll be back in a few moments. Okay, so now it's set, ready to forget. Let's see if we can't see that temperature on there. Yeah. It's starting at about 200 degrees. It's gonna cook in there. We got smoke pouring out. It'll be great to go. We'll be back to check on this in about 20 minutes. All right, we're back. It's already been a little bit of time. Got my clean tongs. And what we're gonna do, this meat's been smoking on here for a little bit. It looks different now. See that? I'm gonna put the fat side down over this flameage. That's gonna start cooking up. What we're gonna do, we're gonna let it sit there. It's gonna sear, it's gonna cook. My coals are all nice and toasty. They're ready to go. Very nice. Yeah, this is gonna cook here for a little bit. We're gonna flip it. We're gonna let it cook again. That's what's gonna give it its bark. We can't leave it on here too long, get the smaller brisket. If we do, it's gonna get too charred. Some people like that, and that's cool too. But we're gonna try and keep this one consistent. We got the fatter side closer to the hotter part and the thinner side back over here. There's a difference. You can rotate, and you can also skew it slightly later, and you can get the diamond shape grill marks on there. This thing is hot enough, but we'll do that. But you gotta let it sit for a little bit and then skew. Sit, move it, let it heat up, skew it, put it back on. Not super important to me though. If it happens, that's a cool coincidence. But yeah, this guy's gonna cook up for a little while here. We're gonna close it up. I'm gonna come back flipping it, and then we're gonna let it cook some more and let it sear. Once it does that, we'll come back. We're gonna put it in our pan. We're gonna wrap it in some butcher's paper, and we're gonna set it back off, set on the heat, not completely, but enough so it'll still get a lot of heat, a lot of cookage on there, and make it taste really, really good later. It should make it fall apart too. So I was a little off on my time. I had hoped to get this on at 3. It was a little bit past that. Hopefully by 7, this will be ready. And it's not because it's super big, but the time does make a difference. The longer you cook these, the better, but not too high of heat. You don't want to burn it. It's almost like you're baking on a barbecue pit. That's what my buddy said. So you're like baking. Yeah, you're kind of baking, but you have to make the fire, and it comes out real smoky. Like, he smokes all his foods now, so I mean, he totally digs it. And yeah, this is gonna be great later. We'll come back, we'll check up on this one, and we'll see what we can do with that on wrapping it up. Hopefully it'll be ready soon. All right, so now we're back. We've already charred our brisket a little bit on the barbecue pit on both sides to give it that nice crispiness to it. What we're gonna do, we're gonna get ready to wrap this bad boy in here up in some parchment paper. I used to use foil, but it's not too good to use foil. It's got that aluminum all up in it, and yeah, it collects a lot of extra juice for you to use later. But honestly, I'm not really worried about collecting juices, so I'm gonna use pink butcher paper from H-E-B. Texas stuff, good stuff. We're gonna get this bad boy ready to go. We don't need a whole lot, we just need enough. And get this ready. Got a little bit of parchment paper underneath, so while I'm doing this, hey Lily.
This is Minecraft.com. This is Mal.com.
And what we're gonna do, we're gonna put our brisket on here. And then we're gonna wrap it. So, like this. Put our tongs here to hold it. And get our brisket. Put it right there. Didn't really need the tongs for it. It's just to hold the paper. So we get our paper, wrap it up like this. Get another little wrap on there. I'm gonna fold it up again. As we're folding it, we're just gonna kind of tuck it in as best as we can. It's not perfect. Fold that guy back down on here. One more fold. Again, this is just so we can keep it encased. We can close it. It's gonna cook on that fire pretty good. I'm gonna show you how we place it on there, but it'll be a good one. And it'll be a good brisket. It's a mini brisket. Still takes a little bit of time to cook.
Also make this kind of milk.
And that kind of milk. We're gonna get this on the fire. We're gonna let it set and forget it, and then it'll be ready to eat. I'll show you a nice little cut when we get to that. All right, so we're outside. We're going to throw our brisket right there onto the fire. Gonna open that bad boy up. Getting our brisket, and we are going to set it right up on. We'll put it right up over here. We want it to cook pretty good, so it's gonna set over the fire right there. It's gonna do its thing. It's gonna cook. It's wrapped in butcher paper. We'll flip it so it could get the juices moving around. We'll let it sit like that at first. When we come back, it'll almost be time ready to take it off the fire. So we're gonna let it cook, flip, cook, set it, and also we're gonna close up these vents a little bit more so we can let that heat stay in there. All right, this is our brisket. It just pulled this from the fire, and we had to take it out of the paper. This thing is falling apart. It's pretty much ready. It's a good one. So for this one, I can just cut right into that. All right, this is our brisket. It is ready to fall apart and eat. This thing cooked for some good time on there. We had to take the paper off. But it is ready. This thing is falling apart. We tenderized it really good. We got some good bark on it. So cut a little bit again. Yeah. No problem. This is gonna be some good eating. So you can see the brisket cut up very nicely here. We already sectioned it up into some pieces. This just comes right apart. We're ready to eat these, full of flavor, ready to go.